It was a typical busy evening at Le Ciel Royal, a luxurious restaurant known for its impeccable service, world-class cuisine, and elite clientele. The kind of place where celebrities, politicians, and billionaires often dined, basking in the opulence of the golden chandeliers and velvet-draped walls. Tonight, however, the atmosphere was charged with an underlying tension, one that no one could predict. Clara, a young and outspoken waitress with a liberal mindset, had recently started working at the prestigious establishment. Her sharp wit and vocal opinions on everything from politics to environmental policies made her a somewhat controversial figure among her colleagues. However, she was known to be passionate, which the restaurant's management had encouraged, albeit with the condition that she keep her opinions in check when serving customers. It was during a quiet lull in her shift when Clara's world would be turned upside down. As she walked through the elegant dining room, clearing plates and checking in on guests, she noticed an older man seated at one of the best tables. He wore a simple but timeless gray jacket, and his piercing blue eyes seemed to scan the room with an air of authority. Clara, ever the perceptive one, could not help but make her assumptions. She saw the man's rugged, weathered features. Perhaps a Hollywood star of the past, she thought. He was dressed casually, but there was something about his demeanor that suggested power. Despite her assumption, Clara dismissed it quickly and went about her work. The man, of course, was none other than Clint Eastwood, legendary actor, director, and producer. What Clara didn't know was that Clint was the owner of Le Ciel Royal. He had been coming to the restaurant for years, enjoying the quiet privacy it provided. Clint had invested in the restaurant some time ago, seeing it as an opportunity to combine his love for fine dining with his passion for creating a world-class experience. As Clara passed by Clint's table, she overheard him briefly speaking with another diner about his love for the arts and how important it was to give back to the community. The words ignited a fire within her. "I can't stand people like him," Clara muttered to herself. "Just because he's made a ton of money in Hollywood, he thinks he can own places like this and lecture people about community. What about the working class? What about the people who are really struggling?" Her tone was loud enough for a nearby colleague to hear, who immediately shot her a warning glance. Clara didn't seem to notice. In her eyes, Clint Eastwood was just another rich, out-of-touch celebrity who used his fortune to control and manipulate the world around him. As fate would have it, she found herself assigned to his table for the evening. As she approached, she plastered on a polite smile, her opinions about the man simmering just below the surface. "Good evening, sir. Can I get you anything else tonight?" Clara asked, trying to keep her tone professional. Clint, who had been absorbed in his meal, looked up and smiled warmly. "No, thank you. Everything's perfect. Just enjoying the night." Clara, however, couldn't hold back. Her liberal views had been bubbling over, and she thought this would be a prime opportunity to speak her mind. "You know," she began, her voice taking on a more sarcastic tone, "it's so refreshing to see someone like you actually care about community. But we both know the only thing you really care about is your empire. Don't you? The rich keep getting richer while people like me are just left to serve at their tables." Clint raised an eyebrow, clearly taken aback. He didn't respond immediately, but his piercing eyes seemed to scrutinize her for a moment. Clara, thinking she had made her point, continued, "I'm sure you think this restaurant is your little slice of luxury to show how much you've given back, but at the end of the day, it's just another way to puff up your ego and claim that you're better than everyone else." The words hung in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. For a moment, Clint didn't speak. The room seemed to go quiet as everyone nearby stopped their conversations, sensing the growing tension. Clara waited for a response, her eyes glinting with an almost triumphant gleam. But when Clint finally spoke, his calm, steady voice cut through the silence like a knife. "You seem to know a lot about me, young lady. But it's funny because you don't really know anything about me at all," Clint said, his voice barely above a whisper, but filled with an unmistakable authority. "You're so quick to judge people you've never met, assuming that wealth and success are the only things that define them." Clara's face flushed. She had made the classic mistake of underestimating someone based on their outward appearance, and it seemed that she had finally met her match. But Clint wasn't finished. "What you don't know," he continued, "is that I'm not just the guy you think I am. This restaurant? It's mine, I own it." Clara's eyes widened in shock. Her mind raced to process his words. "Wait, what?" she stammered, struggling to reconcile the man in front of her with the famous actor she had seen on the screen. "That's right," Clint said, leaning back slightly in his chair. "I've been coming here for years, but I also have a stake in it. I wanted to create a place where people could enjoy themselves without all the noise of the world. And yeah, it's a luxury spot, but you know what? Luxury isn't just for the rich. It's about offering something exceptional, something that makes people feel good. And frankly, you could learn a thing or two about it." Clara stood frozen, unsure of what to say next. She had just mocked the very man who had created the place she worked. The embarrassment hit her like a tidal wave. "I'm sorry," she said quietly, her bravado now gone. "I didn't know." Clint smiled again, this time a little more knowingly. "It's all right. Just remember, not everything is as it seems. And sometimes the people you think are out of touch are the ones who understand the most. Maybe take a moment to listen before you judge." As Clara walked away, she felt the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. The rest of her shift passed in a blur, but she couldn't shake Clint's words. She had underestimated him, assuming he was just another Hollywood elite who couldn't possibly understand the struggles of the common person. But she had learned that there was so much more beneath the surface than she had ever imagined. That night, after her shift ended, Clara sat in the break room, reflecting on the events that had unfolded.